occasion of World Computer Literacy Day, a particular theme is selected on an annual basis. It is believed that the following will be the topic for the year 2023: encouragement of literacy in a world that is undergoing change, putting in place the groundwork for civilizations that are both sustainable and peaceful. If you are interested in AI and high tech, you can join the next global tech giant on Passive at www.coolzone.ai.
Hey, Magic Unicorn on Passive. It's Saturday, December 2nd. I see Chris Johnson still under the weather. But today, guess who's joining Marty live? The one and only Jeffrey Morlock. Yeah. It's going to be a good one. See you on the inside. Don't forget, subscribe, ring that bell, and give him a thumbs up. I can't handle him, Jeffrey. You know what I mean? Anyway, thank everybody for coming. And as the unicorn said, it's the 2nd of December. I cannot believe it. My little brother, Chris Johnson, still under the weather, but he's getting better. And I was very fortunate, and I've always wanted to do a live with Mr. Jeffrey Morlock, and I got the opportunity today. And I've always wanted to say, on Gilligan's Island, I used to watch it all the time. And used to say the Professor and Mary Ann. Well, I get to say the Professor and Marty D here on ONPASSIVE Live. There we go. Always wanted to be able to say that. The Professor. You got the Professor and Crazy Marty. I don't know what's going to happen today, but fasten your seatbelts. We both speak from the heart, and we are in absolute love with ONPASSIVE, the CEO, and the big family that we have created. For me, going on 5 years, for Jeffrey, over 5 years, I believe now. So it's a long time, but time flies when you're having fun and you're around people that are positive. What I wanted to say, me and Jeffrey are not scripted kind of guys, and that's okay because it makes it easier. I bounce off people. Jeffrey's the same way. I knew that from the beginning. When you love something, you don't need a script. It's like talking about your children. You know about your children better than anybody. So what I was thinking last night, as we're doing Minnow, and they had a celebration for Collins' 50th birthday. And I think about what a great guy he is, and I would have never met him if it wasn't for ONPASSIVE. I wouldn't have met Jeffrey. There's no reason for our lives to even cross. But I believe all these things. I don't believe in accidents as much as I just believe when the door's there and you hear that knock, open it. If you don't, then you might miss things in life. And I've been very fortunate and blessed that no matter how many times I fell, I just looked at that as an experience, and I got back up and kept going. It didn't discourage me. Like the concept of MLM, I love the concept of MLM. I just don't like MLM. The concept is great, but how they packaged it in the world is it's corrupt. And it's not a smart concept to say to everybody in the world, listen, 1 or 2% of the people are going to drive the traffic and 98% of the people are going to fail. Doesn't sound like a good business model to me. I didn't like it when I was in it didn't realize how bad it was until years go by. And the more you learn, the more you find out this is almost disgusting. I mean, I didn't like the idea that I'm looking in people's eyes and saying, I'm going to help you. You're going to do great. Where in my heart, I knew that's just not true. It's not going to be. Well, numbers don't lie. And the game was rigged against people. So, yeah, if you had 10 years, you have full time, you could learn this concept and do what they call as marketing. But when you get into a business and the game is a game that is always moving, and depending on what company, they change the rules of the game a little bit even while you're there. But in the meantime, they're telling you, they're giving you, a prep course of, you're doing really good. In 90 days, you're going to make $100 grand. If you do what I'm doing, look for 500 no's. Keep going. Make a list. Go to your God. Yeah, all the ladies and men out there. If you've done this even a month, you know that doesn't work. It's not going to work. It's never worked. And I remember I was naive. I got into this business back in 2004 when I wound up on disability, and I said, hey, that's a pretty neat concept. You work, you build, and your efforts, you can make more. And anyway, and found out it wasn't quite what I thought. And as time went on, towards the end, right before ONPASSIVE found me, I like to say, I was ready to quit because I didn't like the idea that I'm dragging people along, and what good is it to go celebrate? Hey, we're going to Disney World by myself. It doesn't make sense. What fun is that? I want to celebrate with people that we grew with. I want to see everybody do well. I know, because I was blessed to learn what I did, that ONPASSIVE is a gold mine for me no matter what. If Ash doesn't give me anybody, that would be fine. I'm no joke. But to know that everybody gets an even playing field. Ash invented the game. He made it so that everybody can hit a grand slam. You don't have to be a slugger. You're going to hit a grand slam. He made everybody a hero. Everybody's going to be a perfect marketer because the tools are built in, automated. You can be a bodybuilder and not lift any weight. They do all the weightlifting. And you can do very well financially for you and your family, and you don't have to be an accountant or a banker. I don't know what else we're looking for in life but that. And on top of that, we built relationships, which I'm reminded of every night when I go to different webinars, and whether it's somebody's birthday or whatever. And I think, my gosh, I know somebody in every continent in the world. I could travel anywhere right now and people would invite me to their homes. That's the business we're in today. And if you're watching this for the first time, I don't care if today or 6 months from now, or you're on Jeffrey's YouTube channel, wherever you're at, anybody in ONPASSIVE, listen to the theme. The theme is the same. I know what happens to people because I used to do it. You hear about something, you hear a name, you hear a person, and the first thing you want to do is Google it. And the problem, hey, the dog's barking. Anyway, the first thing that you do is you Google it. And like I have said to people, Don's going after. Like I said to people, Google is a search engine. You go there, you ask a question, it gives you a result. It's not a truth engine. And I've said this over and over and over. You still have to do your due diligence. If you put in something about somebody that people know, you're going to hear the negative first. I don't know why that is. I don't know what happened to this world that negative is so popular. Because everybody gets bad mouthed. And I go, man, that's not fair. I don't even know what. So now because of my experience, I came in ONPASSIVE. Any business I did, I came in and I said, I want to know who is this man that's doing this concept. And back then, it was not what it is today. I thought if they could do 10% of what he's saying, people are going to do pretty well. But to think this came out of it, I'm blown away. I mean, totally lost off my rock. I couldn't even imagine where we are today. No way. But like I said, first time in my entire life that I got into a business, and it got bigger and better every day, every month, every week. No, always getting bigger, and it's better than you think and bigger. And it sounds so insane. People look at you and say, "Oh, he's tricking people. He doesn't believe what he's saying." I believe every word I'm saying. And Jeffrey will tell you the same thing when he talks. Listen. I just want everybody to know. I didn't know where I was going, but I want everyone to know that watches this, and founders, and even people that aren't in yet. If you're not in, get in. It's free. Look around. If you don't like it, leave. Don't pull out your credit card. Don't give us your wallet. You can't anyway. Come in, look around. If you like what you see, stay. If you like positivity and you like people that believe in we are our brothers and sisters keepers, I think you'll be happy here. But I want to tell people that are in, and I keep hammering this home. If you're in and you have anxiety or you're worried, let that go. All the hard stuff's being done for us. We don't have to do it. But I want you to realize, I don't care what your dream was when you were younger. I don't even care what it is now. You'll never outdream or outrun or outthink ONPASSIVE. So when Ash tells you dream bigger, he's not joking. And listen, I don't have to know everything that's going on in ONPASSIVE. I can look from right now back a year and a half, and I am blown away. And I believe I only see the tip of the iceberg. And if that's what I'm seeing, and the past has anything to do with what's coming next, I have no questions. I'm just going to sit back, get an oxygen tank, because I think I'm going to pass out, and take this ride, this magic carpet ride that the Master Genie invented, and I'm going to ride it for all it's worth. And I want people to come on that deserve a better life. I want the people to come on that have been ripped off, beat up, deceived, lied to, small print, little letters. Oh, if you do this, I'll make you this. If you're tired of that and you want upfront, clear as the bell, clear as the whistle, come down passive and test it for yourself. That's the beauty of it. You don't know me. I could be a big lying idiot. I'm going to tell you this. If you're watching this and you want to look at it, don't. You do not have to sign up with me. And no joke. I would never sit at an MLM because you're grabbing everything you can get. It does not matter here. You'll see what I mean. No joke. Anyway, I'm going to turn it over to Jeffrey, because if I don't, I'll take the whole hour. And I really want to hear what Jeffrey has to say. And I told him, no holds barred. Jeffrey can do whatever he wants. So remember, he's the man. So who knows what might happen. Jeffrey, it's all yours, buddy.
Well, thank you so very, very much. I appreciate being here, Marty. And yeah, I could probably start and talk for a long time on a lot of the points that you just hit. But maybe a little off to a slow start. Let's remember, first of all, that security in our OES, single sign-on, extremely secure. It's a closed community. Users are verified. Don't sweat the load, okay? You don't have to worry, or as you and I were discussing earlier, folks, we don't need to be majoring on the minors. Let ONPASSIVE do the heavy lifting. Let them worry about things. We just do what we do, and we enjoy life. You also mentioned craziness, as you and I were talking before you went live, about the online business and what we can expect. And, I want to say it was Colin or somebody, maybe it was Gene, somebody on another webinar that really started sparking my thoughts. And I remembered that there was a term that came out in 1987 called VUCA, V-U-C-A. And it's referring to what you were referring to unknowingly, in that today's business environments, they're volatile, they're uncertain, they're challenging, and they're ambiguous. And then you were talking about MLM, right? Now, MLM, if you look at a real MLM, it's a good, look at Mary Kay. it's nothing really to be afraid of. What has happened, though, is you had companies that really started to veer off what that truly was, and they made scams and schemes out of them, and they drove them right into the ditch. So that now the terminology, when we use that, red flags go up in our brain, and we're like, oh, MLM, oh, bad. They're not, but still, that is not us. That is not ONPASSIVE. Now, you had you brought up a topic last night that I was glad that you did, and it kind of took us back to 1918 and 1919, or 2018 and 2019. And when you look at how we started in that MLM matrixy kind of, but it didn't take us long for Mr. Mufara to come out and say, whoa, wait a minute. We are changing everything we're doing, and we're going in a new direction. We're not going to be doing the MLM stereotype businessing, that kind of a marketing platform. We're getting rid of the columns, the matrix, the sheets we used to fill out with columns and money and who goes deep and who goes wide and all that. He said, we're doing totally away from that. But we had already had so many people in with that mindset. Man, it took us a while to really get it and to leave that behind. So that's kind of how we started, because that was what was available. That was the mentality for online. We were going to jump in, and using that paradigm, using that model, Mr. Mufara was going to make it a lot better and make it so that we could all guarantee our successes on there. Mid 2019, we took a big right turn. We went from marketing to AI and digital transformation. It was the middle of 2019, and Ash had come out in April and said, you know what? We've been busting our butt for several months. We finally got it right. We figured it out, and we're going information technology. That's when we turned that corner from a marketing platform with an online business marketing MLM scenario into the digital transformation of information technology, which, by the way, is Mr. Mufara's wheelhouse. I mean, that is his shtick. He's been doing it for 25 years. He's had multiple businesses, very, very successful. And once we made that, started doing all the IT stuff, he also says, oh, wow, we got to have AI, because we need efficiencies and we need automation, and we can't do it without AI. And then the step further, which brought it in-house, they couldn't find the techs on the outside to do what needed to be done. That's how big his vision was. Things did not exist that we needed. So then he said, let's go get the engineers, let's go get the developers. And I don't mean newbies fresh out of school or something like, I mean, these are seasoned veterans in tech communities that have a dozen, 15, 18 tech years under their belt. These aren't schlop. These are the best of the best that he brought in and started sharing that vision. And together they all got that bailiwick going. And that's what we ended up with ONPASSIVE, an AI IT company that is massive. We're global. We're absolutely on fire. And so that's where we are today. We are not what we started out as, and we don't even resemble anything in print for a company that we started out as. So life is good. I'm going to take a breather. I mean, I can keep right on going because I have some things in my head I'd really like to get out, but go ahead, Marty.
No, it's very good. I mean, all this stuff, like you said, where we were, what was going. See, during the journey, we were going to go to a location, but it was a stop by where Al thought 10 years from now, I'll go there. That's where I really want to go. But we'll go here first. But while he was going there, like Jeffrey said, he went, wait a minute, with this momentum, and I believe Ash knew internally, inside, we got to go. Now's the time. There is no waiting. And like Jeffrey said, when he pivoted around the first quarter, after the first quarter of 2019, I know I was here, you could feel something. There was a quake, Like, okay, whatever was going on, we have just switched into, we went from a prop plane to a supersonic something. Okay, we knew something had changed. And Ash decided, let's do what I really want to do. Let's do what I really want to do. Let's not do a pit stop. Just go to that destination. And I'll tell you what, I've said this a long time ago. Look, I believe, I don't like talking about numbers, but I'm going to talk about results. I know, and I'm going to say it, I said it before. Amazon created 40,000 millionaires through their affiliate program. Wow, right? But they weren't trying to. Ash wants people to be very, very successful. Do you think he could do 10 times that? I think maybe. And by the way, are we going to have one product? No. You know how people say to you, hey, you need different streams of income. Here's what I want you to do. When you get a chance over the weekend, go to a hardware store like Lowe's or Home Depot and go to the plumbing department. And I want you to look at the rows and rows of faucets. That's ONPASSIVE. No joke. You're going to have enough water. You're going to need scuba gear, okay? So don't worry about streams of income, really. I mean, get yourself a very big vessel because you're going over Niagara Falls with this sucker. Because he never limited anything. That's why people say, and that's another thing that last night we were talking about. A lot of people looking on passive short-sighted. I'm not making fun of people. It's a human instinct. None of us were thrown into a multi-unicorn company at birth. No one, including Ash before, no one on the planet was thrown into a thing like this. So as the journey happened and the company's migrating or evolving from a worm to a butterfly, okay, we had to go with it mentally. And it was hard to go through this change. You know, yeah, we hooked upside down. We didn't know what we were doing. The cocoon's coming around us. What's happening? We're changing into that butterfly, which is ONPASSIVE, where we're going. And I didn't understand 100%, but I always said, don't worry about this. Let's worry about where we're going. And then you start seeing stuff they're doing. And that's all I'm asking people to do. I don't believe in motivate. I believe in inspiring. You can only motivate yourself. Nobody can talk you into doing something. But think about where we went, and all of a sudden you're going, whoa, this is freaking huge. And to be part of that and to know that no matter what we do or what's going on, like right now, I don't care what business, look, even bring in your family. What person do you know in your entire life that is working for you has spent tens of maybe millions of dollars for you to become successful? I don't know anybody. In fact, there is no one. So, and and I said this every day this week, when Chris Johnson asked Ash, what could the founders do for you? He goes, be happy. What the frick? I thought, just be happy. We're going to do all the heavy lifting and tell the truth. Say what you know. Some people want to be a reporter. They want to be Jimmy Olsen. I got the story first. Why? It would be better to give the story last and be truthful. And if you don't know something, swallow your pride and say, I'm not sure. I believe it could be this. This is my opinion, but I don't know. And until I hear it from Ash, it's nothing. Even when I saw stuff in the Mideast, because I am a rooting pig. I root everywhere to find out what's going on. Where am I at? I got stuff coming from all over. And I'll see something going on. I believe with ONPASSIVE. I could put it together in my head, maybe. I don't even touch it. I want the company to deliver that. I want the company, because what happens, we're always wrong. I mean, every time somebody brings a, hey, look what the company's, look what I found. Okay, Jimmy Olsen, you didn't find anything. And then later on, Ash comes on and goes, you got the company right, but that's not the story behind it. So let's wait, let the company deliver that. Another thing, I was talking to Mike last night, and he said, very important, make sure you,
Sorry about that.
that's okay. Make sure you learn the products, learn the system, know what you're in, know what you have. You don't have to be an expert. I know people hear me talking and maybe Jeffrey, and they get, oh, I don't know how to do that. You don't have to do anything. Look, the most important person in this business is you. Just be you. Be 100% you, because I've met a lot of you 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. And what I've seen you change into is amazing. And the person I see you now, where you're on screen, you might even be doing webinars, where a year and a half, you were hiding. You wouldn't even put your camera on. No way am I going to put my name on underneath. Go from that to speaking on camera in front of hundreds of people. That was you anyway. That's all that is. It's you becoming the best of you. A company doesn't make you. They open a way for you to be the best you can be. I know that sounds like a corny thing, but it's true. I'm going to tell you, and this is another thing I've said many times. On Passive, by the way, Red's not doing a live. Okay? So, but here's what happens. There's people, while they're working on stuff or doing stuff, they keep it secret because they're worried about it, somebody taking it or stealing it. But here's the facts. This is a big fact. I believe, this is my opinion, there's a lot of inventions, even world-changing inventions, or maybe even health things or whatever, where ideas will come to ONPASSIVE platform. And I'll tell you why I believe that. Because it's a safe zone. It's fertile ground for ideas, and you're not going to get squashed by the big dog. Really. You remember in your life, I remember from the 70s till now, you would read something in the paper where this farmer somewhere in the middle of nowhere invented something where he could run off of chicken poop or whatever and run his car for a month. Well, then what happens? You never hear about him again. People pay him off, be quiet, let it go. We like the way things are going. Don't rock the cart. Don't rock the cart. ONPASSIVE with Mr. Mufara, he wants that info. He wants you to come on. If you come to Mr. Mufara and the platform of ONPASSIVE with a good idea, they will build it. They will build it. If it's needed and good for mankind, they will build it. And other things me and Jeffrey talked about before we turned the camera on, AI. And there's a generation there that they're scared to death of AI. It's mainly my generation. Anyway, but here's what you have to look at. Anytime something new happens in the history of man, anytime, the car came out, there was people that sat back and said, oh, this is the sign of the devil. It's the end of the world. All of the blacksmiths are going to lose their jobs. What are you going to do? We're supposed to be using horses. That thing makes too much noise. But look at the change that the automotive industry made on the world. How many people are employed because of an automobile, from parts to tires to mufflers to, millions. And the same goes with AI. People look at AI, oh, it's going to destroy jobs. It's going to take jobs. But if you go look and really research, you know what they're saying? It will create 12 million more jobs than it ever takes away. Why? Wrap your head around this. There'll be jobs that we never heard of because of technology. Just think, how can that be? What do you mean, how can that be? How many muffler shops were made before the car was invented? None. Nobody even knew what a freaking muffler was. And what would you need it for? You're going to hook it on a horse? You see my point? Technology changes the industry itself. So they will start, and then kids will come out of school instead of working at McDonald's for 4 years so they can finally go work where they want to work. they can maybe get into the industry of something new and big, like what we're doing now. And anything can scare you. Listen to me, I can kill you with an orange if I hit you hard enough with it. But AI, from what I've seen, all the benefits it's doing for mankind, and there's a lot of them, you go look and check this out for yourself. What benefits AI has done up to this point, and you'll be blown away of the technology on how it helps people that are crippled, how it works with agriculture. I mean, all that. It's really, really cool. And the other thing is Ashmupara. I want to make sure this comes out every day. If you've got anxiety, oh, when are we going to get this? How'd that happen? Well, I don't know what, and I can't remember two things. Ashmupara and ONPASSIVE. You know what he wants, you know where he's going. So if you're worried, it's unnecessary. Ashmupara is going to take care of it. Look at the payments now. They're going through boom, 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 boom. He said, give me 2 weeks. It's only been 4 days. And they've already tripled that I can see, easy. And he said, next week it'll be better. Next week it'll be, and people go, I had a guy say to me, oh, merchant, how hard is it? And I said this before, I know. Amazon does millions of dollars a day. Yeah, but Amazon, when they started, did hundreds of dollars a day. They didn't start where Amazon is today. They started in Amazon back in 1996. Nobody enters the business world as a unicorn or maybe a multi-unicorn. It's a shock. Here's a nobody, because in the world, really, ONPASSIVE still isn't known, comes up with the kind of money that only companies could dream of. And you think it's going to cause a panic? Yes. So he had to make a hybrid paying system. Why? Because we're a hybrid company that nobody's ever seen. They will work it. One day we will be in a terrarium called ONPASSIVE. It will be locked down and we'll have everything we need internally. And then it's a different story, but it takes time. So we got to go on this journey, be happy. And like I said, wear a different hat. If you were fortunate enough to be a founder, act like one. You're not a customer until you become a customer. Remember the phone, right? I have an iPhone. I wasn't there when they made it. I wasn't there on the journey of making the iPhone. Trust me, you don't think they have bad days? Many people probably lost their jobs over making that phone. But what did I see? I saw the end results in a beautiful box. Oh, this is amazing. That'll be ONPASSIVE when the box opens for people. And that's what matters. I know I've been all over the place, but that's what I do. Plus, I drink a boatload of coffee. I'm going to turn it back over to Jeffrey and let him add a little bit, and we'll keep going.
Wow. Let me ask you a question here, very pointedly. When you're talking like that and you've got topics, do you want me to interrupt you and just chime in?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Right. Just put your hand up, and I know you have a comment. No problem.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. Well,
because I won't shut up if you don't. Okay. All
right. You mentioned a lot of things that you talked about back when you were talking about the income and having multiple streams of income. That is a perfect way for us to understand that ONPASSIVE is looking for our success. And they're doing this in such a way. I know that early on, there was a lot of us that were expecting ONPASSIVE when we launched to launch with a ton of products all at once, big fanfare, whole, skyworks, everything. Mr. Bafar is not about doing that, because we understand too that when you do that and you have people that aren't used to having abundance or wealth, and they have all of a sudden got an influx of financial abundance, now they've got to learn how to deal with it in 6 different ways and what to do with it and how to, and it can hurt us. And that's just a fact. The way that we're rolling this out with 1 product, 2 products a month, maybe something like that, it scales up our financials as much as it scales up ONPASSIVE. It's doing it the right way. It's no longer business as usual, Marty. We can't do things the old way. And this is the new way for us to do it, to ensure that our success is met along the way, not only as individuals within ONPASSIVE, but as ONPASSIVE, a unicorn company, and to thrive in the world of international business. Like, I mean, obviously we're doing that, right? But today it demands a lot more different skills. We talked a little bit about that as well. You went and talked about some technologies. In particular, you mentioned AI. Well, there are at least seven technologies right now that are shaping the future that we are locked in step with, knee deep with, wading into our hip at within ONPASSIVE. You've got the big data, you've got cloud storage, cloud-based storage, you got 5G, you've got AI, blockchain, the Internet of Things, connectivity, and obviously the metaverse. Now, these things are things, and I'll explain how, but these are things that we're involved in right now that ONPASSIVE is already working on and doing. Now, with the big data, we talked about AI, we've talked about machine learning and big data, right? The amount of data that accumulates globally and continues, man, it's climbing exponentially every year. Now, there's a company out there called Statista or something like that. Anyway, and they said, the total amount of data created, copied, and consumed by everybody in the world is like 65 zettabytes. I mean, that's 1,000 times more, than gigabytes. I mean, it's just a crazy number, right? And it's expected to grow. That was in 2020. Now it's expected to grow to, 3 times that by 2025. And big data, ONPASSIVE is going to be using it. And we use it to improve operations within ONPASSIVE, everything from marketing and customer experience strategies to supply chains, manufacturing. We're in manufacturing. You've seen the ONPASSIVE robot. We got physical things being done, right? Supply warehouses, developing training programs for employee. Just huge stuff. Cloud-based storage. We talked about that. We're in it, knee deep. Mr. Mufar knows all about it, loves it. We're using that not only in ONPASSIVE with the technical operations of ONPASSIVE, but massively with the data systems and the data centers that we're coming out with, which we've got already a data center. We got 3 more of them coming out of the way. We'll probably learn more about that first quarter of next year. 5G, there's not a lot of people talking about that because specifically when you mention 5G, you think cell phones. But 5G is a 5th generation of mobile networks. That's true, but it offers faster data speeds, a lot lower latency, which we've talked about in some of the iTech pros. Collins and them have talked about latency before, and it gives us a lot greater capacity than previous generations. So 5G is huge, and it's going to be used in healthcare, manufacturing, autonomous vehicles, which is huge. And this is where we kind of get into it more specifically, and Mr. Mufar has talked about it, because he has talked and is a big advocate of virtual reality and augmented reality. We're getting into those things. And 5G is able to support that high, that high bandwidth that we're talking about, those applications in VR and AR, and that allows for the immersive experiences that is going to set us apart with some of the technologies and some of the things that ONPASSIVE is coming out with. He's also interested in, or mentioned that he's not adverse to gaming. Gaming is going to be using 5G, but he also let us know that it's not going to be gaming like, it's going to have to be wholesome. It's going to have to be learning. It's going to have to be something that's worthy of ONPASSIVE to get into. So, excuse me. You also mentioned AI, artificial intelligence. Now that we're already into, it because he's talked about machine learning. He's talked about the automation and the integration of all of our products and services within the OES, but we're using it outside of the OES as well. You're using it in finances and marketing and things like that, but we're going to be using it overall. And there's a lot of businesses using it, and it disrupts traditional business model simply by automating tasks. We talked about the automation. It improves and quickens the decision-making processes, and creates the new products and things of that nature that you were talking about. When you have new technologies come out, other technologies are caught up in its wake and developed as a result of resourcing and supporting that new technology. So AI is huge, and we're in this. We're already there. Blockchain, that's a distributed ledger technology that enables secure, transparent actions. And we're going to be using blockchain, right? He's talked about this. This is the technology. This is the stuff that's going into the world now. We're going forward with all this stuff, and it's going to be used in all sorts of things: healthcare, digital identities, supply chain management, just tons of stuff. Smart contracts, which are on the rise. They're complicated, but man alive, talk about security. And Mr. Mufar is all about security. There's also the Internet of Things, which is the connectivity, right? This one talking to this one, talking to this one, talking to this one. We're doing that. We're implementing every bit of this stuff. We've been talking about IoT for a long time, but these things are progressing. And as ONPASSIVE moves into the future and we start developing more of what he wants coming out of the innovation labs, which is not only inventions, but it's new technologies, new digital technologies and solutions, right? Then we start being able to handle more stuff with the 5G and with the better data and the latency reductions. Then overall, we're talking metaverse. When you start talking VR or AR, those types of realities, you're getting into metaverse, and that gives you a whole ton of stuff. Man, that's huge by itself. So I wanted to get that out to let people know this is where ONPASSIVE is, and that's where we're headed. That's where we're going right now with a lot of these technologies. Now, there's also, I'm going to give a breather here, but there's also some skills we need going forward that we're already doing, and there's also technologies on the rise that we're going to see in the next probably 5 years, and you will see ONPASSIVE on a bent toward that. We're already heading that direction, but we can talk about those so that you can see where ONPASSIVE is going as well. So thank you. I appreciate that. And I hate to disrupt or interrupt you when you're talking, but boy, sometimes I'm like, I'm chomping at the bit going, man, I want a topic. So thank you.
No, I don't mind. I don't mind that at all. I love it. In fact, it gives me some ideas and stuff while you're talking. I'm listening what I could add and all. So yeah, I've been putting in like below what 5G is, and now I just put in metaverse, and there's so many things that it should be exciting for us, because one thing is it's being done for us, so we don't really have to do it, and we can learn as we earn. Pretty neat concept.
Oh, yeah.
Learn something totally new every day and get paid to do it. Get paid to use products that are a lot of fun. The other day, like I said, my granddaughter, Alexis, was here, and I showed her OConnect, and she has an account. I said, you can use this. She goes, what's all the buttons for? And I started showing her, and she went, oh, wow, that'd be a lot of fun. Can everybody see that when I do it? I said, yeah, if you invite them on. Who can I invite? Anybody you want. They just have to get signed up free. Oh, that is so cool, And let me tell you, once you get that generation in who really are wrapped around AI, trust me, they are. AI, IT, technical stuff. My grandson can jump on anything and do anything with it. Anything to do with computers, and he's 8. You know how hard it is and how humbling it is when you have to ask him how to fix something.
You know what? That's a good point. I was talking, I had a conversation going with Magna over in India. She sent me a picture of her 3-year-old daughter using OConnect. 3 years old on the computer, and it was amazing. So, yeah.
No, I mean,
we're getting there.
I know. And the other thing is for everybody here, us older people, try it. You'll like it. You can't break it, right? Go try it. You'll find out, oh, this is pretty cool. That's how I found out. I'm not, look, men don't take directions, right? They get something, they put it together, and then they look at the directions, figure out why was one leg bigger than the other one. But on passive, it's there to test it. You can't break it. And I think if more people that do that, the more you see what we have, you're going to want to share it. I'm sorry. I don't ask anybody to market. That's a joke. But sharing, I mean, I tell everybody, if they come up, what are you doing? You know, it's so simple too. Hey, Marty, how come at the end of your email you say you're not going to be using Gmail in the future? Oh, I switched over to something else. Why? Because I don't like companies selling my my information, my data. Data's money, and I think, you know, and it's not like they're sharing their profits with me.
Hey,
it's
you know what?
fair, you know. So
you bring up a good point with talking about the going into the back office and playing with things. You're right. We're not going to break it, but we have a responsibility as members, especially charter members of ONPASSIVE and those members coming in after we launch. We have a responsibility to go back there and do exactly that, because that is also part of the beta testing being used to implement new ideas and features and functionality and test them. And that becomes part of the scaling up after we could put those in place. So Absolutely. They put stuff in there. You go in, new buttons, new this, new that, new information, click, 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 click. It's being monitored 24/7. And you have techs over there. I mean, these guys are frothing at the mouth, waiting for information so that they can go in and tweak or fix or rearrange or do something to make these better. Right. And when that happens, bingo, guess what? The lights go on, more ideas come up. That's where Ash is getting this stuff from. We do something on this end, it shows up over there, and they go, wow, here's a eureka moment. And how many of these features is he coming up with and putting in there as a result of what we found here using the interface? We have a responsibility.
Absolutely. And with machine learning or people learning, you have to give it the data to understand how to learn. You know, that chat box, people say, oh, you know, should I use it? You should use it every day. And go through the whole process. Did that help you? No. And because that's how it learns. The more you use a chat box, a chat bot, the smarter it gets, the better it will deliver. It's just the way it is. Yeah. It's taking the data, and then it's giving it back. It's taking the data and it's giving it back. One day it starts off in kindergarten, and at 6 months down the road, it's Einstein. And it's only because it took all that information, it can remember it. It goes by what worked and what didn't. I mean, you look at what these things I got at home where you can call it, just yell it out, and it'll give you the answer. How did that happen? It happened from people using it over and over and over and over. It's machine learning. It's learning all the different aspects of what could be going on. So it's pretty cool.
The AI that we're using within the machine learning in particular, right? And also the machine language, they have a language that's, I won't get into that. Machine learning that you're talking about that handles the big data, I mean, huge data, and learns like that. What we're talking about is it mimicking and becoming more what we call emotional intelligence. Our AI, our chatbot within ONPASSIVE will be emotionally intelligent. It will be able to, as you said, when we start, it's going to be probably a little bit weird, but the more it interacts with you, Marty, personally, and Jeffrey personally, or, you know, Minu personally, it's going to recognize you. You're going to feel you out. It's going to know you better. And every day, it gets more personal. It gets to be able to almost read your mind, that sort of thing.
Yep.
That's where we're going. That's where, you know what? While we're at it, let me tell you where OnPassive is huge. We are AI and we are IT and we are here to stay and we are heading into the future at a very fast rate. Let me tell you about some disruptive technologies where I see OnPassive going in the next 5 years, so that we can we see where a little bit ago I listed, I think, 6 or 7 of the disruptive technologies we're in right now. Right now, we're doing those things. The AI and the IoT and the metaverse and all that stuff, we're in it. We're in it right now. Mr. Mufar that's his play pit. He is loving it. But we've got technologies also coming up in the future that are going to be a part of business that's going to shape the world. Machine customers, right? Now that goes back to machine learning and data, right? Machine customers, these are non-human economic actors, if you will, that get goods and services in exchange for payment. These are machines, these are entities, digital personalities buying stuff. I mean, for a lot of organizations, the idea of selling to a machine customer is not a reality, but it's time. That's where it's going. That's where we're heading right now. And eventually, if you're a salesperson, a sales leader especially, you're going to have to start looking at and developing sales forces that can effectively navigate the challenges of human, machine, and, like you mentioned earlier, hybrid selling environments. We're going there. I'll guarantee OnPassive is. There's also generative AI. It learns from existing, what's the word they use? Artifacts, I guess, which is kind of nebulous, but to generate new realistic information reflecting the characteristics. And you were talking about training and that sort of stuff. That's what that's going to be doing. It's going to be developing new training data and new characteristics of the artifacts, the information that it pulls in. Not to repeat it, right? It can produce its own images. We're seeing it with Chat GPT, images, video, music, speech, text. These things will write stories, and it'll blow your mind. It generates. That's what I mean. When you say generative AI, it generates new content. It generates brand new things. You give it an idea, it's going to reach out and it's going to grab everything it can find. It's going to put it all together. It's going to spit something out for you and generate a new picture. As a matter of fact, if you look at the picture on my YouTube, that tree that goes up, on one side it's AI and on the other it's heart. That was generated by AI for me. So, I mean, that's a one of a kind, just to give you an idea. I thought it was beautiful. We also talked about
cool. Amazing stuff, Jeff.
Yeah, augmented reality, virtual reality. By 2025, they're telling us 80% of business-to-business sales is going to have interactions with the suppliers, between the suppliers and the buyers. It's going to occur digitally, in digital channels. This is where we're going, guys. OnPassive is already looking at this stuff. So we're ahead of the curve. We've been ahead of the curve. You've heard Mr. Mufar say 3 years ago, we're 5 years ahead of the market. 5 years ahead of the market. That was then. And we're still jumping into it. I mean, it could be a critical sales channel to anybody for sales meeting and product demonstration and training. And you know it. And we've already got, look at Academy coming out, Connect. Look at these digital, that burn a lot of digital bandwidth. These are the products that are going to be streaming and using and interacting with all of these things. Of course, you've also got digital humans. We're talking about avatars already. Remember? Did you see the new video? Media put out a new video. And it's whoever the media person is, but it's a digital version of her. And I'm thinking, okay, you're going to tell us this is, and she's like, threw me for a loop. She wasn't talking about her as a digital avatar. She said, you can see this stuff by, look, here's our new robot. And it showed a robot, an AI robot. I'm like, she just blew my mind with all that stuff. Digital humans, they're interactive, AI-driven representations, for lack of a better word, that exhibit the characteristics, the personality, the knowledge, the mindset of a person, right? And it says by 2026, about half of the business to business buyers are going to be interacting with these. I mean, it's crazy where we're going, but this is where ONPASSIVE is going as well. And there's also emotional AI. We talked about that. They help by this empathic ability to alter the engagement, be more favorable purchasing something like that. And multi-reality, that's the one that is coming up. It just means that there's going to be a lot of different ways for sellers to. And
you got kicked off for a second, Jeffrey. I had to bring you back on.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what was going on, but you
blew up your router.
Well, you know, I'm loving this because this is where we're going. If we can get people to understand, stop looking at ONPASSIVE like a risk or anything. Like, we are solid, stable, founded, grounded, man. We are rocking and rolling, and we have things going on. I've talked about this before. I've talked about the OES, the ONPASSIVE ecosystem, is primarily what the audience, our audience sees, our market sees. They don't see the innovation labs sitting over in the Burj Khalifa. They don't see the data centers. They don't see the strategic partnerships. They don't see the marketing and branding. They don't see the physical products all backing up everything, all the peripherals backing up what we are. We are so big, so strong, so fast, so sweet, and so red. Nobody's going to be able to touch us, Marty. I mean, it's just the way it is. And I know I get excited when it's, you know, I like big pictures.
Yeah,
I know.
too.
Like a song, don't sing it.
No, me too. Hey, listen, you know, another thing to add a little bit to what you were saying. You remember Ash said that in some of the malls in over in Dubai and that they have actual videos that analyze who walks up to the camera. Like, it looks and sees a man standing there with a briefcase and a little kid. Okay, he's a grandfather, but he's a businessman. We're going to show this ad. Let me tell you something. That is amazing. And that's going on. It's going to go on and on. And like Jeffrey said, the world's going there. The difference is it's going to be led there through ONPASSIVE. That's a big deal. It's a big deal. That and like when you're I just like Jeffrey said, we're thinking too small. There's too much going on. This monster was let loose, okay? Ash himself could not pull the reins back and stop this monster. There's no way. In fact, he's riding it for everything he can. That's why he's working as hard as he is, because it's on its way. It's on its way to cover blanket the world. And he's got everybody all hands on deck. It's rough. It's you can see it in his face. He's working hard. So, but listen, and I'll have Jeffrey back on here, no doubt. This is a lot of fun. We could actually, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, and I know people love it. I'm watching the chat, and the amount of people watching is increasing. It's not going down, which is.
We got more time?
Yeah, we're good. He's not coming on.
Great. You know what you just reminded me of, and this is a little piece of, I know you love trivia, right? But the algorithms that you're talking about being generated by the AI cameras, software, looking at granddad with the kids, right, on vacation, that algorithm, that's where we're heading. That is the evolution of digital transformation. Now, here's the kicker for you. It's nothing new. It's been happening for eons, and we can do that. We live that way. We generate that ourselves with our thoughts, right? Our thoughts are electric. They're electrical in nature. Our heart and emotions are magnetic in nature. And that electromagnetic wave goes out and it looks for things that match that frequency to bring back into our lives. That's exactly what that algorithm is doing. You were talking about, and when you log on to Google or Facebook and you're like, well, how did they know I was looking at shoes? You know, you go look at shoes and then 30 minutes later in your email, you got a shoe commercial.
That's
That's
exactly
because
right.
they're looking at what you're interested in, and they're finding other stuff and they're bringing it to you. And that's how God works. I mean, that divine consciousness that we've all got, that's that same way. I mean, it's got to be great. It's got to be good stuff, you know. And but this is what ONPASSIVE is doing now. ONPASSIVE, if you think about Mr. Mufar, you know, you just got to appreciate that man for who he is and what he does. And I know you, like me, when I first started watching him on those videos, that's what we saw. We saw the heart of what he was trying to do. And ONPASSIVE has never faltered in keeping those philosophies, those corporate philosophies, the AI with heart that he coined that phrase back in 2019. I remember when he was asking, because we were talking back and forth, and I had come up with heart and technology, and he came up with AI with heart, and I'm like, oh, that's even better yet, right? So,
Yeah.
but he's got what it takes to do what he needs to do, and I've said before that, I mean, this thing was ordained by God. This is something that is set in motion, and
No
he's
doubt.
the man of the hour. There's nobody else that could have done this the way that he's doing it, simply because he is who he is, and everything that he's done has led up, just like the rest of us. We are all where we are because of the decisions we make. But there are some skills specifically that we can appreciate that Mr. Mufar has got. Okay, first of all, think about this, because this is how the company runs. Cross-cultural communication skills. That man has got those in spades, because any role or function in an international business like we are means that we're working in multiple very diverse workplaces with diverse people and cultures. And whether colleagues like you and I, or clients or customers or members, understanding how to communicate across these cultures is absolutely indispensable. And that man has got it in spades. And it's certainly well represented by him in the company. And all you have to do is look at the founder base, the charter member base, and even the strategic partners to see that, right? He's got to have, of course, this is his training, excellent networking. I mean, that man has got networking abilities out the wazoo, right? In international business, it becomes more and more important even. And ONPASSIVEly, I mean, we certainly do that. And we have strong network connections outside of home, right? Our home country, rather. We're global, 220 countries. How many founders have we got in there? You know, more than 1 million. I mean, there's a ton of them. Now, there was a report that I read about, I think it was 80% of jobs are now landed through networking. And I mean, you're a networker, Marty. You know these things. I know that you know them anyway, right? Not to mention, look at the strategic partnerships that we've developed over in Dubai, some of the things that he's done with that. Collaboration. We've talked about digital transformation and collaborative spaces. ONPASSIVE has, within its own corporate setting, a collaborative space. It is a collaborative space for their techs, their developers, and their engineers. The OES is a very big digital collaborative space where people go and grab whatever they need to fuel whatever dreams they have, right? And we need this, especially in international business, because it's not enough just to build the networks. You got to be able to work well with others. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about an ability to work together for a common purpose, like you and I are doing at a small scale right here, or the founder base or the charter members are doing on the large base. But either way we go, I mean, Ash has got that. He's got it covered too. Interpersonal influence, those people that we can influence, right? The ability to influence others, got to have that. ONPASSIVE has got that. We've got that going on. Man, everything from encouraging employees to adopt new ways of working to convincing products to be sold or whatever to customers, we got to have it. Adaptive thinking, the entire charter base of members for ONPASSIVE was called early adapters, right? Early adopters, because adaptive thinking, and that brings us back to the changing environment we were talking about, the VUCA, the volatile, ambiguous, challenging, and I mean, it's tough. It's a tough market, but we've got to have the confidence to react And we've got to be able to adapt quickly to that changing environment that you're talking about, with all the technologies that are brought up a little while ago when you said, when you come out with an immersive major technology, you've got all these offshoots of other supportive technologies. And we've got to be able to adapt them and think out of the box to bring in these new solutions. And it's an ever-changing environment. And this is something, again, he does in spades. I mean, so he is well equipped to do exactly what he's doing. And I don't think anybody. The last one I'm going to mention, and I love this because he shows us every day resilience. That man and ONPASSIVE has got absolute resilience, right? I mean, unequivocally, we have to have this mental toughness. That's what we're talking about when we talk about resilience, right? On a practical level, look at Mr. Muffar and what he's doing. I mean, he's working across time zones. He's working across cultures. I mean, long hours, 20, 22, 24-hour days sometimes. Failures, setbacks, challenges, they're a part of life, right? They are a part of life. We knew, and he forecasted, we're going to be doing these and we're going to hit some challenges. We knew the challenges were there. And that goes back to what you were saying earlier when you're saying, hey, stop sweating the small stuff. These are things that we expected. We knew they were going to happen. Now, we've hit some challenges we didn't expect. We did not expect to crash and burn with the processing. I mean, that was a biggie for us. It kind of, whoa, all right, all stop. Let's figure out what's going on here. But it works. And all through this, the resilience that he has demonstrated is just phenomenal. And that rolls right into the ONPASSIVE corporate structure. So, and these skills, and again, I'm going to let it go, but man, I'm telling you, these, we're in a good spot with ONPASSIVE. And if you want to grow with ONPASSIVE, just jump in, take a look around. Like what you were saying, take a look around. If you see something you like, grab it. It's probably free right now. And if not, you can get a trial for it.
That's right.
Spin the wheels, kick the tires, have fun with it.
Exactly right. I was thinking, Jeffrey, while you were saying, you said a lot. I was thinking a lot to say. But we talked about the metaverse when you brought that up. And I see now, I put one on. My son has one of those. Oh, let me tell you something. I put it on. And when I put it on, I looked over to the right. There was a dinosaur laying in the grass. No, wait a minute. It's as real as you are on the screen.
Yeah.
And I looked up and I went, in fact, I could feel my heart racing because he was closer than I thought. Now, was he really there? No, it doesn't matter, but my mind thought he was.
Yep.
So I looked over and this thing started standing up, and it was a Brontosaurus. It's like 30 feet tall. Yeah. And I'm looking up at him going, wow. Can anybody see this? You know what I mean?
My son did that for me.
Amazing.
And when I put those on, and after I got adjusted, I was looking over a ledge, and I'm telling you, I knew I was in my living room, and I knew that ledge was not there. But my brain was saying, "You idiot, get away from the edge.
Get away, you might fall nowhere." Yeah, I know. And the cool thing about it, now they're coming out with, you know how people buy the Peloton bike, they buy a weight set, they buy all this stuff? They're doing a workout thing using those where these things fly and you punch them in the air and you get scores. So you're working out with like weights in your hand, but you're punching these things that are coming at you in your mind. Oh, it's crazy.
I'll give you one better to tie something into that. And it goes back to the magnificence of who and what we are. It's proven. Dr. Joe Dispenza did hours and hours and hours of study. And I love what you were saying, hey, you can be a bodybuilder without having to lift weights. Yeah. That is literally true. It has been proven that if you sit for 15 minutes a day and you think and you visualize curling with weights, at the end of 30 days, they can test your strength. And obviously that's going to change. But more than that, they map your neurons and they can literally see the new neurons that you created and the new muscle that was created just by you thinking it. So this is what we're tapping into. I'm telling you, this is crazy.
No. I know. Listen, I've always believed this. I've read it. I know, You know, we talk about Ash. He's relentless. Here's what Ash is. He's fearless.
Yes.
He's absolutely fearless. He does things that the average person, why would you do it? And I'm thinking, you know, I go to bed and I worry about my grandkids. I got my kids. I got the house. He has all that and a million people around the world. He's got people. He's got to make sure they get paid. They got medical. They got, boom, he's hiring. He's got, and I'm thinking, and we're going to sit back and worry about something that big?
Yeah.
It's almost embarrassing. So I always put things into perspective of, wait a minute. Okay, whoa, peace. What have we done? What do we owe? I'm not paying the electric. Okay, I'm just sitting back reaping the reward. And I think if you look at all the stuff like Jeffrey's bringing up, this is the kind of stuff that, believe it or not, that I'm going through every day in my head looking at, wow, we could do this, we could do that, we could do. Listen, Jeffrey was just talking. And you know what ONPASSIVE is? It's a buffet for everyone. A company could come in and say, I don't like spaghetti, but I like ham. I'm going to take a little bit of that O Connect. I'm going to take a little touch of that, and I'm going to a little bit of O Tracker, and I take them, and they can make little packages that they want. And because we're going to have everything, we don't even know what the physical products are. That is what companies want. They want a one touch, one sign on, single sign on, powerful. You touch it, you get it. You do this, you do that. And you don't have to leave. It's time saving. Look, the most valuable thing in your life is your time. Nobody knows how long we're going to be here. And when I was marketing, I had to jump from 10 different apps and reading different stuff and doing different stuff. And by the time I got to app number 10, I forgot what the game plan was for that day because you're so wrapped up in what's going on. And ONPASSIVE, you're on O Connect. We did a video today from ONPASSIVE. We're on O Connect, and somebody brings up something and go, oh, hold on. And you put a calculator up and you do it while you're in the meeting. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to leave. You're doing a meeting and you can say, hey, there's a couple things I'd like to talk about, but I really don't have the time. I want to pick one. Which one do you think we should talk about? And you do a poll. There's 1,000 people there, and you put the poll up. Are we going to talk about A, or are we going to talk about B today? It's up to you guys. They vote on it. It's B. You tell them, okay, 80% of people said B. We're going to talk about B today. Where could you do that?
Yeah, that's real time. Yeah.
It's real time. It's real time. And when people see that and companies say, listen, I hear people say, you know, what about what I'm going to tell you right now? To have 25 people on the panel and have a 10,000 room capacity, which we get, is $6,000 a month in one of the companies. I don't like mentioning names.
Oh, yeah.
$6,000 a month. You get the license, you know, no, stop. Somebody told me the price. I said, don't tell me the price. I do all this stuff. That's for a meeting, not a webinar. Webinar is $6,000 a month for that. Assets paid $8,000 to $10,000. I'm not even counting all of them. I'd probably $10,000 a month, $120,000 a year since what, 2019? No joke.
Yeah.
So that we could communicate. Let me tell you what, it paid off in spades. Why? We built relationships. We're in something really cool. But like Jeffrey said, could you imagine having his brain in your head? That would hurt. But no, imagine, but there's nothing wrong with that. I love that stuff. When I talk with Mike and Dan, we leave the planet and we go where no man has gone before. I enjoy it. I could tell last night, anytime I go to a webinar, there's a couple key people. If they're there, I know it's going to be a crazy meeting. If Jeffrey's there and I go on, I go, this could be fun. But it's only because you're inspired to think, and I believe, you know, I had brought this up many times, and I'm going to say it now in front of Jeffrey. When you're a kid and you're growing up, you have no boundaries. There's no fence. The field's wide open. It's all green grass. Beautiful life ahead of you. I could be an astronaut. I could be a doctor. Yeah. And then as you get older, you start seeing this fence coming in and this wall. And finally, you get in your 50s and 60s, and you don't even own an acre of lot in your head. Not 1 acre. Now, when you were a kid, it was endless. You couldn't even see the fence. ONPASSIVE is endless. knock the fence down, get rid of the wall. It's not there. It's a lie. You know, I told the story about the pigs. Jeffrey, my uncle owned pigs, and they were in a lot. And I told the story 50 times. Yep. I want to say it again. They owned a lot, and it was up 3 foot off the ground was electric fence. My uncle said, hey, we're going to get these pigs to go into the new lot where there's new grass. It's beautiful. Piece of cake, I thought. So what? We took the fence down, and guess what? The pigs walked up where the fence used to be and stopped dead. And they could not believe that there's no fence, even though it wasn't there. Once the first pig put his nose over, they all went. That's people. People are the same way. They're afraid. I'm not stepping on that. Listen, ONPASSIVE is a safe zone. That's where I came up with the cool zone, but I believe it's a safe zone. I think you need to go. You need to look back in life and say, I ran this thing as fast as I could. I did what I wanted. I helped other people. I lived life to the fullest. Because I guarantee you drive by a cemetery, that's where the treasure's buried. People that lived a life and never really lived. Never really lived. ONPASSIVE can outlive you, outdream you. So why not live it? Why not do what you can do? All of you deserve it. Ruth Pace, David Switzer, I see all these names. You are number one. Key Wendell, he's writing about you now, Jeffrey, the professor. But everybody, you deserve to be
I'm
here.
Sorry, I was supposed to tell you hello for Key. I totally gaffed that.
That's all right. I know Key.
But you know what? You were talking about what we thought as a child. You know, scripturally, we're told, you know, that if you're looking for the kingdom, you got to become like a child. Ashes talks about exactly what you're talking about. Taking your dream down off that shelf, dusting the shelf, dusting those dreams off. The reason that we need to become like a little child is because we haven't been filled with the programming that the world gives us between the ages of 1 and like 8. Right? We don't have that critical thinking. We don't have that logical ability, and so we take in. We're like a sponge, right? Yep. Neighbors, parents, siblings, everything that comes at us, that's what develops us.
Absolutely.
And then after 8, wow, we're already programmed with what the world says. But before that, you know, we're living in the lower brain. You know,
it's all limitations, Jeffrey. It's all it's limitations that were built around us, and we start to conform to what we believe is what we're worthy of.
And we're carrying that right into ONPASSIVE with us.
That's exactly right.
What you're saying is get rid of that.
Everything's take it out to the trash because that's where it belongs.
Yep.
And I know that's what I love about ONPASSIVE. When I see people with anxiety and worried and all, I almost don't get it because I know what I don't know is so big because of what I do know is beyond my belief. It's just beyond what I could imagine. So live your life, do your best. You are number one. You deserve to be here. And by the way, be you. You have a gift of something, find out what it is and run with it. ONPASSIVE is the platform that can set you free and you can do whatever you want. That's why Ask says, remember, ask yourself a question. Very important question. Why would the government of Dubai want to be with ONPASSIVE? Why would the AUE want to be with ONPASSIVE? Why did Egypt want to be involved? Why are they signing stuff with the African nations? Because they looked behind the curtain and they went, oh my God, we want to be part of that.
Keep in mind, Dubai is the technological center of the world. I mean,
it's the heartbeat of it. Yeah, it's the heartbeat of it. And listen, they know something. Why would Mr. Kamal come here, an engineer, a nuclear engineer? Why would Professor Susan come here? She could write her own check. She has President of Egypt calling her. Why would you come to an unknown company? You know why? She knows where we're going. She sees it. She saw it from in here, not from here only. And I'll tell you what, that means a lot to me. When I see people like that joining us, why are they doing that? They're not dumb. They're way beyond that. They're way beyond that. They can
that
do whatever
flows
they
right
want.
into the technologists, the engineers, the developers. All top.
Mohammed Nazar, the new people coming. Ash said it went from going to look for people coming to them, and they say, what can you do for us? It's a big difference. Big difference.
ONPASSIVE is kind of like our ecosystem in that way, that what we're doing is we're pulling in all of this talent into one place. And that's where the development of the new technologies and inventions and the thrust forward momentum is going. So we just need to enjoy it. If you think about it, the AI with heart that Ash came up with back in 2019, he's simply saying, look, we've got the technology on one side, and we've got the heart, we've got the will, the desire, the resolve to keep an eye out for the planet and for mankind. And when you put those together, nothing's going to stop us. All we need to do is feel good about where we're going and emanate that good energy. You know, life is going to be good for us. We just need to chill out.
Well, my wife's got to go soon, Jeffrey, and me and you could go till tomorrow. So, Jeffrey, this was fun, man.
Yeah, I had a good time.
I know. I hope you did. I'm sure you did. I did too. This was. I knew it would be fun, but it even surpassed what I thought. So, and you'll be back. We're going to do it again.
Cool.
Because I need you here.
Well, now I know that I can interrupt you without being disrespectful.
That's what I like about this. This is what I always wanted. People go, forget the script. Hold on, Marty, I got something you got to, okay, that's fine. Because how people learn, I'm going to give you an example. I talk with Robin Noble at night sometimes. And the conversations we're having, she goes, I wish this was on a webinar.
Yeah.
That's what me and you just did.
You had her on the other week where she brought up the
numbers.
Yeah. And I thought, wow, that's a good message. I need to put that back out. So yeah.
Yeah, no. See, that's what I mean though. When you're in a conversation and you feel like a spectator, that's a good conversation.
Yeah.
When you're sitting back watching the movie too, wow, this is really good. Yeah. I almost forgot I'm involved. You know what I mean? That's pretty cool. But I appreciate it, Jeffrey. Thank you so much for being here. Close out, say goodbye, or whatever you want to do, and then I'll close it down. So,
been a load of fun. God bless each and every one of you. I'll see you at the top.
Beautiful. I got to say one thing, and I mean this. Yesterday was Collins's birthday. He's one of my favorite people. But Lystra, she's lonely. It's her birthday today, and nobody sends her a bunch of messages about happy birthday. So I think if you can, you need to send her a bunch of instant messages, letting her know how happy you are that it's her birthday. Now, right now, Lystra's going, I'm going to kill him. That's okay. But anyway, happy birthday, Lystra. And I'll see you all. Like I said, go in the back office. There's a lot of webinars. I personally recommend certain ones because I've been there. I like what they've been said. Go to O Heroes tomorrow at 2:00. They will answer questions until there's no questions. Mr. Morlock goes there a lot. I go there when I can. I just, if I feel comfortable there, I go. I mean, I love it when people are just humble and say the best they can. I don't know everything. And if I don't know, I hope I tell you I don't know. Many times I've come on and ate crow by the pounds, or I've made a mistake or said something because that's not what I want. I don't think you need to blow up ONPASSIVE. ONPASSIVE is dynamite. Anyway, I love you all. Jeffrey, you're the man. Thank you so much for being here. And guys, I'll see you. And we're almost 500 people. And we're almost an hour and a half. Anyway, see you all. Bye.